guys, it's me. I'm back. What's up, party people? We're like, Mads, come on. All right, this show is taking a turn for the. What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Monster Bass Live. I'm really excited to be here. We got a great show for you today. Our guest today is Matt Arey. He's been on the show about a year ago, and we're really excited to have him back. We are going to have a fun-filled 5 minutes, and let me explain why. I sold all the furniture in my house, so it looks kind of like someone broke in, stole everything. Like my end table by my bed is a box. It's true. And so Restoration Hardware just showed up, and they started to bring everything in, and then they realized they can't get it to fit. So I got to go quickly and deal with this really quickly. So I apologize. So here's what we're going to do. Jared's going to talk for a couple minutes. He's going to do an intro. He's never done this before. And I'm going to come right back. I just got to go sign the forms and tell them that they're taking it back. And then we're going to get in. We're going to talk about Lunker Hunt. We're going to talk about the takeover. And we're going to get some fishing tips from someone that's a lot better at fishing than I am. And I just happen to have the Lunker Hunt stuff here right now. So, Jared, you ready to talk?
No.
Yeah, Jared, sit down right now.
What?
Yeah?
I am sitting down.
I got to go sign the forms. Folks,
What?
I'll be right back. Jared, I can't. Yeah, hold on. I'll be right back, guys.
I'm bringing the guest on.
All right, go ahead. All right.
Introduce the guest.
All right. I'm not going to waste any time. We're going to open the phone lines. I have to go sign the forms. They're sitting in my driveway, Jared. All right, let's, this is so crazy. All right, didn't plan to do it this way, but let's cut right to the chase and let's bring in our guest today. He is, he's been fishing a lot. Oh,
there's your guest.
There we go. How you doing, Matt?
Good, Rick. Good to see you again, brother.
Good to see you too. I apologize for the first couple minutes of this show and the way it's going to go down. Jared's going to come on here and talk a little bit with you about fishing. I have to go sign these forms because Restoration Hardware is sitting in my driveway and they're taking away the furniture as we speak because it won't fit. And
we can talk fishing.
All right. So,
I don't have the phone lines ready.
What's that?
I don't have the phone lines ready. I'm working on it.
All right, he's getting the phone lines ready. So how you been?
Good. It's that time of year, getting busy, getting cranked up for the season. So actually leaving, it's show season also, leaving in the morning to go work a show up in Virginia. And then next weekend I've got a show in Spindale, North Carolina. So
Yeah.
rocking, man, we're ready to go.
Right on. Where's the season kickoff?
Okeechobee. We got back-to-backs. We got Okeechobee first and then Lake Seminole right behind it.
Right on. And so, and does Okeechobee, does that feel like a welcome start to the season, or is that or historically have you not had a lot of success there?
Okeechobee honestly has been probably my nemesis for my entire career. So
Really?
in quite a few years. It's a different lake every time we go there, though, just based on hurricane impacts and water levels and things like that. And it's in a pretty fickle situation right now with the high water and what's going on down there. So
Right on. What I'm gonna ask our audience to do me a favor. TRex or Brendan, if either one of you are on here, would you please call in? I would like you to take over for 2 minutes so I can sign these forms and have a conversation with Matt so that we're not wasting his time and I'm not wasting yours. I'll be right there. Can you just tell her I'll be right there? Because I can't believe this. Literally, it looks like my house. Okay, it looks like someone's came into my house under the cover of darkness and took all the furniture because I made this decision at the start of the year to like fresh, clean slate. Everything in my house in every single room is going, and then they're painting everything from top to bottom. And the first shipment came, and it doesn't fit.
Oh,
yeah. So, okay. So Okeechobee's been your nemesis. What each and every year it seems to be, one of the starting points is, obviously down in Florida. Why do you think Okeechobee gives you so much, such a struggle?
Honestly, it's been several years since I've been to Okeechobee. Since I joined the elites in 2019, our Florida swing has included the St. Johns River, which is a tidal river. It's not anywhere close to something like Okeechobee, but Okeechobee being the giant bowl of water that it is, and it's just it's so vast, and the fish. I think I can't remember what pro said it one time, but it's like we fish for 10% of what lives in that lake and only 5% of the lake.
Got it.
So, or most of the fish live in 10% of the lake, but the ones that don't live there are uncatchable. The ones out there in the main body. But the lake, because fish spawn, that's South Central Florida. They don't spawn for a month like they do around the house here. They spawn for a couple months, and that's really where I've always had a tough time dialing in a pattern. I like to pattern fish. I don't like to sit in a group of boats and fish, and that's usually how those tournaments play out at Okeechobee. I like doing my own thing and getting away from crowds. It's always really hard to do at Okeechobee.
Yeah, totally.
It's just frustrating. It's frustrating because you find a group of fish, you don't know how many's done, how many's coming, how many's gone because the spawn's so spread out down there. Well, best case scenario for a lake like Okeechobee is we have a week of really cold weather leading up to the tournament and then a warm front. Consistently warm weather down there throughout the winter months. To me, it really spreads the spawn out. It makes it really hard to read the stage that the fish are in and how many that are in that specific stage. So it's hard to predict. And I always like to stay ahead of the fish, and it just doesn't seem very predictable to me when I've been there in the past.
What what kind of bag do you think it's going to take to win this?
Well, it's Okeechobee in February. It's going to take a big weight. I don't see it being 100 pounds like some of the guys are talking. I'm a realist. The lake's going to fish so small. Um, 4 days. I mean, I could see 80 pounds.
Yeah.
20 pounds a day
Yeah.
being right. Unless somebody stumbles across a big old group of giant spawners and catches 35, 38 pounds one day, maybe they could scare 100 pounds. But that's going to be perfect scenario type stuff.
Right on. Right on. If you don't mind, I'd like to bring on a caller. He's going to ask a few questions. I'm going to run and go sign these forms, and I'll be right back. Do you mind?
Oh, no worries.
All right, hold on. Let's bring on our first guest.
Hello, Rick.
Hello.
Matt, how you guys doing?
Hey, T-Rex,
Good, how
how
are
are you? I'll be right back, T-Rex.
I'm doing good. All right, buddy. Go sign your paperwork, and we'll be here waiting for you.
All right, thank you.
So, I do have a little bit of lag, Matt, between my computer and my phone. My phone's actually on time. My computer's off a little bit. Yeah, I remember last time you were on. I do have some questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm trying to step up my game a little bit. So I'm not going to fish the local tournaments where you really don't get nothing out of it. I'm joining One Bass, and I'm going to fish the 4 Opens this year in Arizona, Laughlin, California, and then the U.S. Open. I'm going to be doing it as a AAA, in the back of the boat. You have any tips that you can give me to help me out?
Well, sure. I mean, I started my career back in 2005 on the FLW tour as a co-angler, and it's good because you're doing the right thing to try to step up your game. You're going to get to see different bodies of water in different stages, and you're going to get fish with a lot of different pros too. It sounds like so. That's number one. But number two is, versatility and not just chasing what your pro's doing. I don't care how good he's catching them. You're not fishing for the fish he's fishing for. You're trying to fish for the fish that he's not fishing for. That led to more success for me from the back of the boat as a co-angler. A perfect example, 2006, I was fishing the FLW Tour de Forest Wood Cup then, which has changed names 62 times since then, I think. But it I was fishing with a guy who was targeting deep brush piles. Of course, he knows the boat in, fire at the brush pile. He was fishing the shaky head, and I was targeting fish, that were out suspended away from the brush pile with little small swim bait, and ended up winning the Forest Wood Cup as a co-angler. This was back in '06, long, long time ago. But things like that though, like target, like if your guy's going down the bank and he's fishing shallow wood, you're fishing everything in between the shallow wood. You're fishing for those individual fish that he's not necessarily targeting. Now you can't expect to get near as many bites as he is, but at the same time, if he's a good stick and he's fishing his deal thoroughly and he's on a pattern, then he's going to mop up pretty much every aggressive bass that's near him. So you need to look to figure out a different way to catch him than he's fishing, and look for fish in different spots than he's targeting.
All right, that makes sense. Yeah, this is going to be something new for me, and I'm actually really excited. So I've already booked my vacations for the whole year. So there's 4 different events, and they only fish during the week. So that's going to be, I'm used to fishing on the weekends. It'd be nice not having all those recreational boaters out there, and like you said, it's going to be nice to see different places like Lake Havasu, Lake Mojave. I've been to Clear Lake before, so I'm actually pretty excited. Had a nice long talk with Rafi about it the other day, so we'll see what happens. And I thank you for the tips there. I really appreciate it. I see Rick's back, and I don't want to hog up the show, so welcome back, Rick.
Thank you. You did great. Is it your show now?
No. It'll never be my show. I'm not that cool.
I don't know about that. So what did I miss?
Oh, no, I was just asking about, I don't know if Rafi told you, but I'm not going to fish the local tournaments around here. I'm going to the One Bass and fishing the 4 opens, where 3 days during the week I'll be paired up with a different pro.
Oh.
And
great.
Yeah, I'm excited. It's a lot more money, but I just want to step up my game and see what I can do.
All right. Good stuff. I already have a question for Matt. Matt, what does it take? Take us through your pre-tournament, prep.
It's I've been in the shop, I guess, down in my shop for, I don't know, 4 to 6 hours a day for the last. Well, I went fishing today all day. I've got my new boat this year. I've been breaking in my engine, so part of that, checking everything from trailer lights to live well pumps to bilge pumps to graphs, electronics, making sure everything's dialed in, everything's tight, trolling motor, efficiency of everything on the boat, because those are our tools when we're tournaments, and everything has to be dialed in perfectly before I leave. So at least I feel better that way when it is. From tackle prep, we go from Florida to Seminole, so this turnaround is not, or Okeechobee to Seminole, it's not too terribly teetotal opposite as some of our turnarounds are. Like one year we started in Florida and we went from there to Lake Lanier, which is a deep herring lake, clear water, spotted bass, things like that. Going from Florida to there, it's a little bit more complicated from the turnaround time as far as tackle prep's concerned. But a lot of the stuff will overlap with Seminole. So I've started rigging rods, reels, bait selections. I reorganized my tackle this time of year too. Just making sure that I'm as efficient as I can once I hit the road. And I don't waste time on things I can get prepared now.
Right on. And when you're fishing a new body of water, I mean, I'm guessing at this point, any stop on the Elite Tour, you fished all the fisheries, so it's not like you're hitting somewhere new, right?
For the most part, yeah. This year we go back to the Sabine River, which is only my second trip there. Lay Lake will be a new venue for me this year. I've never been to Lay, and I'm always really, really excited. Man, I'm like a kid on Christmas morning when I get to go to a body of water that I've never been to, because I've been doing this for 14 years full time now, and it like you said, Rick, we have a lot of reoccurring locations each and every season on the elites, and even when I fished FLW, and that's due to the obvious reasons, the sponsor dollars and things like
Yeah.
that. The host city pay to get us there, but and I understand that's a tough task for these guys to find the cities and the right venues and the right locations to host us. But we do we go back to Lake Murray in South Carolina this year, which is only a couple of hours, but I have not fished a tour level event there in 7-8 years, so I'm excited to go back there. So for the most part, I've been to quite a few of them over the last 3 or 4 years on the elites, but a couple new ones in the mix this year I'm really excited about.
What's your least favorite spot on tour?
Everybody on tour, if you ask them that question, would probably say Sabine River, because the bass are so small, and it's hot when we go and yada yada. But I really like those tough tournaments. But from just a fishing standpoint, I would have to say Sabine River, like just from a fishing standpoint,
Yeah.
because it's super. Fish are really small. You catch a limit 8 or 9 pounds a day there, and you do really well in the tournament. That's kind of sad, really. But Okeechobee would probably be my least favorite, due to the fact that I know I'm going to be fishing in a crowd. I mean, it's inevitable down there pretty much every time I've been there. So, looking at other boats around me when I'm fishing, I just can't stand it. So,
Sure. How close is too close? I pull up and I'm 20 feet from your boat.
You pull up 20 feet from my boat?
Yeah.
You don't fish? Okay, yeah, that's too close.
Okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have a little come to Jesus meeting if that happens.
What's the unwritten rule in terms of how close is too close? Like, how close can I get before you're like, come on, bro? Like, what are you doing?
Well, here's the thing. Like, this is where the worst thing you can do is do that without saying a word. It's all about communication on the water, and that on the water, um, you know, we've talked about this on our podcast with Let's Talk Fish, about courtesy on the water, and how it's a little bit scary, because, and I'm not saying all the younger generations like this at all. There's some older generations the same way, but you have to communicate. I fished 20 foot from guys before, and we've been fine, but we worked together. We didn't ruin the spot. We didn't trash it. We weren't stupid about our approach. We were very calculated, things like that. But you probably see more heated confrontations in local team tournaments than you do on tour. I mean, 99% of the time. I mean, that's where I've seen more heated debates. And there's been a few on tour, of course, but usually those things are worked out between the pros, and for the most part, everybody's pretty good. But it's all about communicating. I mean, you got to.
Sure. Hey, TRex.
Yeah.
You ever seen a throwdown at one of your local tournaments?
Pretty close. They like you were saying, they had a guy that was new, and he went rolling right up on somebody like 10 foot from his boat, and next thing you knew, they were bumping boats and almost swinging at each other.
Yeah.
So they were like, "Hey, you can't do that." He's like, "I'm gonna do what I want. I paid to fish." So yeah, he got a little attitude adjustment, and they asked him not to come back too. So
sure. What? So TRex, what did you have questions for Matt, or did you already go through them?
I already hit Matt with some questions while you were gone.
Oh, did I miss any good ones? You didn't ask?
No, I was just asking, what I should expect, and some tips for me fishing the One Bass Opens, and I'm trying to get ready because the first one's in February. So I've got all my Monster Bass rods all set up and ready to go, and my Monster Bass tackle box set up, ready to go.
Right on. Well, then, if you don't have questions,
so the first tournament in Arizona at Lake Havasu. I'm excited because I've never been to Lake Havasu.
Yeah.
So what kind of questions you got?
All right, I'm glad you asked. So, all right, so what do you? So first tournament of the year is Okeechobee. What are we going to be throwing?
Oh man, I could go through my whole lineup I've got rigged up in the shop right now. I mean, lipless crankbait, bladed jigs, 5-inch lunker sticks. I've got them actually rigged 3 different ways in the boat right now.
How you got them rigged?
What's that?
How do you got them rigged?
Oh, I've got one weedless wacky rigged. I've got one Texas rigged, and I've actually got one for a little bitty light Carolina rig.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Carolina
That's one of
rig.
the. I tell you something else I've got tied on that I'm looking forward to throwing, especially over hydrilla and things like that, is the new glitch blade, the new Lunker Hunt glitch blade. It's a new deal we launched at ICAST last year, and it's a hybrid crankbait. The back half of it's basically like a blade bait. The front half's more like a square bill. We've got one that's a solid gold color, and I got that one tied on for Florida too. So
did you help design that bait?
I cannot take credit for that bait. No.
So let's see. I'm gonna pull that up.
And I did catch quite a few. Last time I was there was several years back. We've got a swim jig. Lunker Hunt's got a really, really nice swim jig. It's a wire tied skirt. Got a great hook in it. It's a 3/8 ounce. But we got a color called Spawner. It's kind of a brim color pattern. Got a little pumpkin and stuff in it. And I caught him really good on that with a little boot tail swim bait on it last time I was down there, which was quite a few years ago. But swim jig always plays down there.
So the glitch bait, huh?
Hadn't seen that one.
I've seen it. I haven't held one in my hand, but it's basically the front half's ABS plastic. Is it hinged?
Yes.
Okay.
So the blade, correct. So when it actually swims, the knocking sound that the blade makes when it hits against the front half of the body is very, very unique, and that's what I'm kind of excited about. It's not like your typical square bill rattling square bill or anything like that. So it's got a very unique sound.
Let's talk about the swim. Can we talk about the swim bentos for a little bit? Like,
absolutely,
these have been around for such a long time, but they're like, to me, it's my favorite Lunker Hunt bait. When are you throwing these things?
Actually, I've actually used the swim bentos a lot as trailers on my swim jigs, and one of the great things about it is the mylar, the fabric that's actually inside. You see the material that's inside those baits is actually a mylar fabric. Mm-hmm. So the cool thing about that is when you thread that on the back of a swim jig or a spinner bait or even a jig head just to fish it as a single swim bait, that mylar holds that bait securely on that jig or jig head or whatever you're putting it on. But fabric, it's super, super, super tough, and you can catch a lot without having to re-rig it or replace it. You're gonna pull the fabric out, huh?
I am.
Yeah, been there, done that a bunch.
Might as well. Let's see this. Yeah, there we go.
And you can't hardly pull that stuff apart. It's not like a soft plastic or something. No.
Yeah, you're not pulling this apart. No chance.
Yep. So you just make sure you can see it. It's pretty translucent when you look through the bait. Spread it up on the back of that jig head or swim jig or whatever. As long as your hook goes through part of that fabric and comes out, you're good to go.
Yeah, this is anyway. All right. What
It's some pretty tough material.
Yeah, it is. So which one do I want to throw? Let's go through. What modifications do you when you get when you're throwing, a Lunker Hunt bait? Anything, I don't know. The Impact Reactor Series lipless. Do you modify those at all?
Hook changes, about it.
Yeah.
Hook changes.
You just like a little bigger hook?
If I can get away with it, absolutely. Yep. And I'm mostly a Gamakatsu guy for the most part. I have started to experiment with some other hooks over the past few years, but the thing about fishing a lipless, your rod and reel setup is everything. If you're fishing it in grass, that's a whole different type setup than fishing it, in open water on flat points and things like that. So, you got to have a rod that can do the work for you in the grass, can snap it free, things like that. But then in open water, I like one that's a little bit more parabolic, where the fish can load up on it a little bit easier and get hooked better.
What Who's your rod sponsor?
Lose.
I like Lose. I like Lose. They yeah, we got a bunch of them right there. All right, there was a number of Lunker Hunt baits in the box this month because, as you know, they took it over, and Lunker Hunt's known for some innovative designs that people haven't seen before. Obviously, so you can throw a different profile at the fish. Is there ever a time like, Savage Gear had a duck a long time ago? You'd never see someone throw that on tour.
No, go ahead. Sorry. I'll let you finish your question.
So, would we ever see like the I don't know, the Battle Beetle on tour?
There's such small windows when baits like that really, really shine.
Yeah.
That you absolutely have. I mean, it's like the big rats and stuff, right?
Right.
Like those they do catch bass and they get really, really big bites. But there's a lot of variables that go into the windows of when those baits work, and I'm not going to say never, but it's just not super likely.
Right.
Not a tour level tournament. If I could pick and choose exactly where I go and when I go there, sure, you'd see it work.
Sure. What TRex?
Yeah.
You still there? What
yeah.
What's the craziest bait you've ever thrown in one of the local tournaments?
I actually we had a lot of moss on top of the water at Lake Kauai, and I actually threw the Lunker Hunt spider. Was walking across the moss, caught 3 or 4 small bass. They weren't big enough to weigh in. But yeah, that's pretty much the craziest one I've thrown. I did take the Battle Beetle out the other day to the California Aqueduct because I wanted to see how it reacted in the water. And I had a couple small bass just spotting it like, hey, what the heck's that? But yeah, it works pretty well in the water. So I don't know if I would use it in the one bass. But for recreational fishing,
yeah, sure,
in some of the local rivers around here, where there's like a lot of overhanging moss and overhanging weeds and trees and throwing it up underneath there, stuff like that, I would thought it was something like that. Now, I did with the spider last year. I pulled out, if I think about it, I'll send you a picture. I pulled out probably about a 2.5 pound frog.
Wow. All right, good for you. All right, we're gonna take a quick break. It's golden ticket time. So for everybody at home, if you got your golden tickets handy, you know the routine. Your box comes with an individually numbered golden ticket. If I call your number out, email me at marketing@monsterbass.com. And if you win today, we will. Well, my garage is actually pretty clean now, so I've got another box over there. I'll send you a prize pack full of baits. I'll send you a lot of Lunker Hunt baits because, as you know, this month is Lunker Hunt takeover. And so before I do that, I do want to let everyone at home know that Lunker Hunt's got a promo code this month. It's MBLH20. You get 20% off your purchase at lunkerhunt.com. So make sure you use that. Again, the code is MBLH20 for 20% off. All right. The first few numbers are 10836, 10215, 09594. And I want to congratulate Mr. Rick Clun. He's got the silver ticket, and he's already a winner. So once again, I'm going to have a conversation with Rafi. He is still not booked, Mr. Clun, to be on the show. He's in the chat every week. Yeah, he's in the chat every week. He's always got good tips for us. In fact, he helped me name one of the new baits, and yet Rafi has not booked him on the show. Can you believe that? Might have
to have talk with Rafi.
Yeah. Well, listen, we let him go. He left the company once. Nothing says we can't do it again. All right.
Yeah.
I'm never gonna do that. All right. TRex, I don't want to keep you all night long. Do you have anything else for Matt,
right.
or should I let you roll?
Just one quick question, just because I really don't know, and he would know. As a back of the boat guy, what's an acceptable amount of rods to bring?
I'd say it's tough, right? In certain situations, when you, as long as your boater's willing to spill a few beans, the night before, it's always a good idea to ask him a couple questions, whether it's clear water, dirty water, shallow, deep, things like that. But I'd say you could get away easily with 6 to 7 rods. 10, 12 gets a little crowded, but 6, 7, 8 tops. I'd say try to keep it under 8.
That's a really good question, T.
All right.
That leads
to.
I had 6 set up, and I was thinking that might. Well, I was thinking that 6 was too much, but that's why I have set up already. So, but I know they're having, like, you register the first day. The second day, you get to go have a big meeting with all the pros, and that's when they pick your first pro to fish with, and you're supposed to meet up with them. And so I figured that would probably be a question, but it's good to have a little insight before you go. So.
Yeah, and I would make sure to ask him, kind of how it's setting up, how it's looking as far as water conditions. You don't need to know exactly the way he's fishing. He may not want to tell you, but at the same time, unless the guy's a turd, I hate to say it any other way, he should at least give you some good insight on as to what to expect. And I think 6 or 7 rods, you should be able to get away with that pretty easily, as long as he, guides you a little bit.
All right.
Now,
I thank you for your time, and thank you for answering my questions. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, T-Rex.
Well, no, I know you want to get to the next caller, so I was just saying thank you for answering my questions, and I really appreciate it. And just, I always appreciate any kind of insight I can get to help me out.
Good luck to you this year.
Yeah, T-Rex.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on when we first started, and text me. Let me know what you thought about the American Badass showing up on Monday night. So I'll talk to you later.
You don't even want to know. I was jumping up and down.
I'm sure you were.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, man.
Guys, have a great one. Thanks again. Bye.
All right, that's T-Rex. I didn't drop it. All right. So let me ask you another question. Now, T-Rex got me thinking when he asked you that question about, the back of the boat. Let's say I'm in the back of the boat and I land a 10-pounder. I land some big fish. Can I act like I would if I was by myself and landed a 10-pounder?
Sure, absolutely.
That's not gonna bother you?
I mean, look, if I left a 10-pounder behind me, it's my fault. That's the way I look at it.
All right. Yeah. What do you think of MLF's decision to go back to the best 5?
Well, I think trying to change the sport, like their ultimate goal just didn't sit very well with me. And here's why. So you have they bought FLW, right? So they've got every qualifying circuit to lead up to the BPT. It's almost like going to play professional tennis, but the AAA level is ping pong, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you have 5 fish format, it is until now they did change the minimum weight, I think, last year, to where they went to where they had a minimum weight. Before it was like 1 pound across the board everywhere they went, which was kind of silly, in my opinion. Um, but when they went up to a minimum, it changed things a little bit for the better, I think. But at the same time, when you're fishing your entire life that revolves around a 5 fish limit, might be 7 fish, might be 3 fish, but it's still the best five, right? Typically.
Yeah.
So that's a different, you can approach that type of tournament a little bit different than you can when you know you got to go out there and catch 70 bass that weigh 80 pounds. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
For sure.
if you're prepping to fish at the top level in your respective league or tour or whatever it is, or your sport, um, you need to be training the same way from start to finish. And that's just that that's the issue I have with it. That, and I don't feel like the score tracker deal and all that stuff. My problem with that is like knowing what other guys have. I feel like you see a professional angler at his best when he has an open mind and he's able to make decisions based on what he's seeing, what's happening, the conditions. When you clutter his head, with 65 other anglers that have X amount of bass and X amount of pounds, uh, you could argue the point also that you got to have a strong mentality to get through that and work through that
Mm-hmm.
and kind of that. But at the same time, fishing is not like a team sport. It's not like football where you know the score all the time. Like we grew up never knowing the score. We
Right.
fished tournaments all our life never knowing the score. So there again, it goes back to the way that we've understood our sport for as long as I've been alive, and now you try to kind of change it, and I just don't. I don't think that's a good idea unless the entire world, the entire sport, or the entire industry changed with it, and that just wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, I feel like it would change. I feel like as an angler, I'd be in my head a lot more than I want to be because, if I know that like I'm down by whatever,
Yeah,
4 pounds, I'm gonna change what I'm throwing. I'm gonna go. I might want to go big when I would have been throwing something totally different, and I feel like it would just be a super stressful. I mean, it's already stressful enough because it's a competition. But then to add the fact that I know where I stand and what I think it would just totally, it would take some of the enjoyment out of it because I'd be constantly analyzing numbers.
well, yeah, and your confidence, right? Your
Yeah.
confidence changes. You make a decision 100% based on your own mentality and your own mindset and in current conditions, and you go catch one, it makes you feel like a hero, right?
Yeah.
But if you see so and so angler has 102 pounds, and you hear that on the score tracker, and you see him over there fishing a point in 30 feet of water with a spinning rod,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you
Totally.
know what? Then you can't help but try to go duplicate what he's doing somewhere else or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
And that's the problem with it. Like it changes your entire decision making process when you're visually seeing it and hearing it go down. Like we always see a guy catch a bass here and there, but we don't know he's caught 40 before that. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Sure.
it, it's entirely different type of mental game. I think it disrupts the natural flow of tournament fishing.
Yeah. Yeah. I also think like, when they started MLF and they basically bought everyone. I think of it, it's kind of like golf, right? And then the new tour, they just picked up everybody. But now I look at it and I say, okay, if I've got the choice between the two, is it every one of you on tour, or for as long as you've been competitive fishing, you always dreamed about the Bassmaster Classic. And given the choice between like the opportunity to fish the Bassmaster Classic versus Redcrest, I feel like you're gonna see some. I feel like it becomes an easier decision to pick one over the other, unless it comes down to money.
Yeah, and a lot of it does. I mean, sponsors. That's first and foremost. There's obviously, it's like the golf tours, the LIV deal and stuff.
Yeah.
There's sponsors that support individuals that want them in specific places for specific reasons. So sometimes that dictates an angler's decision, I'm sure. I it's the Bassmaster Classic still. Obviously,
Yeah.
it has the high value. It's been around our entire life. It is the biggest event in our sport. It does garner the most attention, the most eyeballs, the most traffic at the show. And it was a dream of mine as a kid to fish the Classic. I just happened to come up through the FLW Tour ranks, and I was,
Sure.
I was making a living over there, and had some good sponsor support. And I never really considered, did I want to fish a Classic when I was over there? Absolutely. But I never considered trying to qualify for the elites because of how tough that gauntlet was. And now you see what it is now, and it's insanely tough. Now I think how they've revamped the qualifiers this year is a little bit, it works a little bit more to a career angler's advantage. So I like that. But back then it was like 225 boat fields and the opens, and you're trying to get a top 3 spot, and that's, you could be a great angler and finish 7th every year in the points and never make the elites, and I've seen guys do that, unfortunately. So there's a lot of great anglers in the Bassmaster Opens that may never see a day in the elites, and that's tough.
Yeah. 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 It's also really interesting to watch the way that the approach that FLW used to take versus Bassmaster. It was almost like you went to Bassmaster and you become famous. You went to FLW and it was almost like it was about the brands. For me, it seemed very different, a different approach.
Yeah, it was a completely different business model.
Yeah.
When they had the relationship with Walmart, it was very corporate sponsor driven, and all the team deals back in the day, which, I was part of the Quaker State team there in the last few years of the good old FLW days, I should say, because they, that unfortunately no longer exists.
Sure.
And the first Wood Cup, which was a pretty, just an unbelievable event, for years and years, is gone, and that's sad. That's a sad reality that we face now. But it was very corporate sponsor driven. It was I don't want to say it was political, but it was money driven. It was very money. And but the positive of that is when the anglers, that did get in on those team deals and things like that those non-endemic, big corporate non-endemics were the ones that were making 200 boat fields with 100 place payouts. I fished opens in 08 and 09, Walmart FLW Tour Opens, regular season events now that pay 200 to win, $100,000 for second. Finished 5th and one, got $35,000 for 5th place. And it's the toughest thing and the most challenging thing with our industry now is, I've been fishing 14 years full time. When I started 14 years ago, I was fishing for $100,000 first place prize. 14 years later, I'm still fishing for $100,000 first place prize. Yeah, that's a problem.
Yeah.
In my eyes.
Yeah, and it's all on the come too, right? Because you got to pay, right? You got to pay to play, and the number of people in the money, like it's not a. I talk about it all the time. Like if let's pick a lot of professional sports that I'd love to be an athlete in. This is not one of them. This is a tough, especially like I think about the young kids that are like newly married and stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, this has got to be such a strain. You got to have a really tight relationship because this is not for the faint at heart.
So, amen.
Yeah. So we got a caller on the line. He's been waiting 12 minutes. What do you say we see what he's up to? Go ahead, caller.
Hey, what's up, Rick? It's Ralph Boyd.
Ralph, how are you, sir? Or should
How are you?
I call you Master Sergeant? Is that how I should start referring to you?
No, I hate it because everyone's doing it, and I'm like, I'm the same person I was yesterday.
Listen, it's just a sign of respect, and we thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. It's just weird when you hang around people and you've been friends with people so long and you get promoted, and all of a sudden some people get big headed and respect me. I'm in charge now, and I'm the polar opposite.
Well, listen, if I had a really cool title like that, I'd have my own T-shirts and I'd be like, yeah. I'd have business
Oh, I
card
do
to
have
pass it. I'd be
I have
like
a
General
t-shirt
Rick.
that's on the boat.
I'd love it.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
So,
Oh.
do you have some questions for Mr. Arey?
Yeah, so Mr. Arey, I think I met you briefly at the Classic last year too. I've met so many people; it's insane. Can't wait for this one this year.
Yeah, he remembers every single one.
Can I answer a lot? This is the no, this will be year 2. I'm excited. I'm actually going to one down in Knoxville Saturday. I think I'm gonna end up seeing some of the guys down there. But
The East Tennessee show.
I answered a lot of my tournament. Is what?
The East Tennessee show. You headed to it?
Yeah. I'm heading down there on Saturday for that one. Yeah, because I'm stationed up at Fort Knox in just south of Louisville. So about a 3-4 hour drive. So I'm gonna go down Saturday and spend the night, and then I gotta come back Sunday to work.
Nice.
Yeah, so should be fun. She kind of answered a lot of my questions about the tournament stuff because I want to try and get into some local tournaments this summer because, like Rick alluded to, as a result of my promotion, I'm moving to Rick's area, and we're going to be neighbors here soon to Southern California later on this fall. But this summer, I want to take advantage of being here in Kentucky and Tennessee and fish a lot of local tournaments. So I guess it would be 2 questions I'd ask. One would be just like starting off in like local based tournaments, you know, a newcomer coming in, like what would be your suggestion or tips just with the kind of some of the stuff you said before with the politics of it, and even just now, just fun fishing. I've come across guys that are like super protective and, you know, taking up the ramp when they're launching and hiding spots and all that stuff. So how would you recommend getting past that some type of scenarios?
Well, are you talking about a team tournament that you'll be fishing with a buddy, or?
I mean, I have a boat, so I'll probably fish some solo, but I have a bunch of friends around here that probably would want to fish. Just all depends on our schedules and stuff. Half person military, half civilian. So trying to put positive and negative together. Doesn't work all the time with our schedules, but at least solo, if not with someone else. But you know, just like walking into it, like, you know, hey, how you doing? Trying to meet people and introduce. I mean, being in the military, we're naturally social, but some people are just really clammed up and don't like the outsiders. So it's something I've heard a lot of people talk about in conversations around here. So it's kind of what kept me a little bit from doing it last year.
Yeah, you know, I have a very small circle on tour, and I'm kind of buddies with everybody. We kind of know each other, but everybody knows each other, especially if they've been around for several years like myself. But for the most part, just finding you a small circle of people and gals that you can really trust, and you know, do your own thing. You know, just doing your own thing and learning through experience as opposed to what other people tell you. Because the worst thing you end up in is dock talk. You know, and you're going to hear a lot of that. You're going to hear a lot of the BS around the docks and between the night before the tournaments and things like that. If it's not something you've seen, experienced, and learned yourself, you know, take all that with a grain of salt. But find you 1 or 2 good close friends that you can rely on and trust when it comes to trading information or talking about, you know, the current conditions or what you caught them on in practice or whatever it is, and stay tight with those guys. And that'll be a lot more beneficial than you know, like you said, there's going to be a lot of people that they just don't want to talk because that's just how they are. But you know, be as social as you can and see who'll open up and who won't. And you know, I'm sure you're a good judge of character being in the military, and I think that you know, you'll figure it out. But you'll find a few really tight friends that you can you know, fishing. Some of the fellowships of fishing throughout the years of my career has been some of the most memorable my life, and that's something I wouldn't trade for the world. But there are some guys out there that you do want to steer away from, but you'll learn real quick which ones.
Should we go through the list right now?
I'm really long. Kidding. No, I mean, there's kind of a mutual understanding where there's guys that you talk to and there's guys that you aren't when it comes to talking about fishing, right? But pretty much everybody gets along off water. You know, like we could all go to a bar and hang out and have a beer, and everybody would have a good time. When you start talking about the current tournament that's underway, then you're gonna hear a lot of crap,
Sure.
or you're not gonna hear that. That's what you got to learn.
Is there who's the funniest guy on tour?
The funniest?
Yeah.
Gosh. Man, I don't know if I'd call him funny as much as I would just a risk taker, and that would be Robertson. Matthew Robertson. I mean, he was fishing in his underwear on live this year. You know, I mean, yeah, I don't funny or just
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember I saw him down at Chickamauga. I drove down there for that tournament too, and it's pretty funny.
yeah. He's a you know, he's a unique character. He's a really really good fisherman, and I've had a few conversations with Matt. Seems like a really down to earth guy and a great guy, a really good dude. But as far as like funny one liners, comedian, has never met a stranger, I'd say Swindle. I mean, it's hard not to say Swindle.
Yeah, he's got some
He
good
had some
stories.
one-liners at the Classic on stage. That was hilarious.
His stage presence is really unmatched. I mean, it's almost like a mini comedy show every time he gets up there, and you know that's the fans love it, and he is the king of one-liners for sure.
Yeah, he could be
on like NASCAR Plus.
Yeah, he could be on stage at the WWE Monday Night Raw. Oh my God.
And then I guess my second question, connecting with that, is especially now as I get ready to move to California soon. When you get to a new lake, just like in general, I guess for the good of anyone, what are like your steps for breaking down a new lake? I know everyone has their own method and how they do it.
Yeah, without being too cliche and talking about map study, and you know, I use a lot of Google Earth online to look at the lake. Of course, everybody does a lot of that nowadays. I mean, we've got more technology at our fingertips on our phones and our computers than we ever have, right? So, but one thing I like to do is I like to put my boat in if I have the time to do it, and I like to ride the entire lake. Now, that might not be realistic if you're on Lake Erie or Lake Okeechobee, that's 400,000 or 500,000 acres or whatever it is. But if you're on a lake that's 20, 30,000 acres, even 40,000 acres, take a day just to ride the whole lake and see what it really has to offer, from water clarities to temperature changes to possibly discharge areas to how many creek arms feed it. And kind of how it sets up from man-made cover to natural cover to grass to whatever it may be, timber, deep timber. I want to know all that kind of heading into a new lake, a new body of water. So when I do stumble across something, I kind of know which sections of the lake have a lot more of that to offer.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. It's one question I always like to ask any pro. I think I probably asked it 1,000 times in the class. I just like trying to figure out, I usually get out there and just like, well, let me just throw random stuff. I usually like start with like a crankbait and
I do
either that or chatterbait gets like my exploratory bait.
Yeah, once I get my practice underway and I've seen kind of what I want to see visually and through map study, I do start, as long as the conditions and the stage that the fish are in dictate, which 9 times out of 10 they do. There might be somewhere, you don't need 20 bites in practice to have a successful practice. You need 2 or 3. You need some ideas, and you need to try to figure out what stage the fish are in and where they're headed next. You need to stay one step ahead of them. So search baits are definitely on my deck during practice a lot more often than not. Then I'll kind of have a lot more cleanup baits, so to speak, like, soft plastics, jigs, things like that, slow moving stuff to set up for the tournament to where I can really maximize those areas and catch everything it has to offer as opposed to 1 or 2 aggressive bass.
Okay. That makes sense then. Alrighty. Always love to download all this knowledge. I guess that would probably be it now. Let some other people jump on here. I don't want to take up too much time. Everyone's sure other people are waiting.
I actually have a question for you before you go, Ralph.
Oh, what's up?
So what comes next? What's after Master Sergeant?
The next rank beyond that, well, so for Master Sergeant, it's the pay grade is enlisted rank and then number 8. And there's actually 2 ranks in that pay grade. So basically 2 different ranks, but the same pay. So the reason I'm going to California is to add to the rank I currently have, and it goes from Master Sergeant to First Sergeant, which means I'll be the number 2 person in my unit that I'm going to in California.
And then after that?
So, and after that, it goes up to Sergeant Major. That's the top of the tier for enlisted rank right there.
So here's my only recommendation as a civilian living in California. I would keep your residency or finagle something so that the taxes. Actually, how does that work? Do you pay? Are you going to have to pay taxes just like me in California, or do you get some sweet government?
No. So my entire military career, I have maintained my Illinois state residency because my mom is still there. And so as being active duty military, I am exempt from my state's income taxes, but I keep my residency there, my driver's license, and my state ID.
Good work. Good work.
So the only thing I have to fight is my vehicle registration, which is right now in Kentucky, which is also tax-free for military to station here, so I don't have to pay that. But if anything, I might have to make a drive back home to register in Illinois just to avoid that, which is what I usually do.
Got it.
It's actually kind of cool being here. The nearest place to go renew my license and registration is in Metropolis, Illinois. And if you think back to our old days, Superman,
Nope.
That's where the giant Superman statue is in Metropolis, Illinois, in the town square.
And with that, I thank you for calling in, Ralph.
Yeah, definitely, man. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good night.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I didn't have the heart to tell Ralph that he's moving to a state. Get this. I called Blue Cross today because I filed claims for my son. Did you know that in the state of California, they passed a law that says that anyone above the age of 12 must give consent to their parent to release their medical records. So Blue Cross won't even talk to me about my son's claims that I filed with insurance. If I want to get, let's say my son needed a therapist, they won't talk to me without my son giving me permission to find a practitioner because they passed a law. I was like, wait a minute, my son doesn't log into my Blue Cross. Like, he's never gonna log into, like, sorry, it's the law. And I'm like, wow, these are the laws we're making. Wow. And anyway, I digress. Now I got to go create like fake profile to sign up so I can get my kids stuff, because he's going to be like, I don't want to do this. Yeah, it's so dumb. All right. We're going to DC here. Don't know who it is. I don't recognize the phone number. Let's do it.
Every time.
Go ahead,
You
caller.
say it every time, Rick.
Who is this?
You say it every time, Rick.
It's only 2 calls.
It's Washington. It's Washington, North Carolina, and this is BC.
Damn it. You're right. I did it again. I don't know. I see that.
What's up, bro?
How are you?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. Another great week.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Do you have some questions for
Just
Mr. Arey?
yeah. Listen, man, I'm not at the tournament level in my career as a bass fisherman right now, but it's nice to hear all that stuff you guys are talking about and, you know, learn some new things. I'm always a sponge for knowledge, like I've said before. So it's nice to hear you, and I appreciate you coming on, Matt, and I appreciate everything you're talking about. And, you know, I'm just calling in to say hey and do my weekly thing, and I got my box today, my January box. I'm excited about that. I did open it up to get the golden ticket out, but I do need to do an unboxing video on my YouTube channel, so I'm not looking. I did see a little bit of it, but I don't want to look yet until the unboxing because I want like a natural review, you know?
Oh, so you can't even tell us what your favorite Lunker Hunt bait was in the box?
Listen, I can't. I mean, I
That's
can't.
okay. That's
Not
okay.
yet. I gotta be natural. Listen, if you go check out my YouTube videos, I've tagged you guys in a couple of them, but I did kind of like a promo thing just because I was so excited about the last box and last week's live and everything. So just kind of did like a give you guys some love type of videos. But
All right.
I just wanted to call in to say, hey, I ain't gonna waste too much of your time. You know, I want some other guys to get up here, but
Well, let's do this then. You're still out there fishing,
all right.
so why don't you got
Oh, yeah.
you got an opportunity to ask Matt any question about any bait in your box and how you could be, maybe be more effective when you're throwing it. Why don't you pick one and ask him? It's like asking Jordan how to dunk.
Okay. Well, out of the box that I just got right now, is what
Any
you're
bait,
saying.
any bait in the world.
Any bait in the world. Oh boy. All right. Well, I'm a big topwater fan. So I've recently mastered walking the dog, and I'm doing really well with that now. And I like waffle floppers, things like that. I bought probably every spook there is. I got just boxes and boxes, but any kind of really topwater advice, frogging that would be cool. Besides just walking the dog, I mean, how you really is the morning time the best time always just to go in the morning or right before dark? I know that's not always true, but it's like, I don't know, maybe some frog advice. We'll let you freestyle it.
I'll give you one good tip on topwater fishing in general. So that's a big misconception. Some of the biggest fish I've ever caught in tournaments were middle of the day. I mean, hot sun, 80-degree August, and I've caught them dead middle of the day. I've caught them on a buzz bait, caught them on a walking bait, caught some really big ones on a frog that time of day. Frog fishing around grass mats, things like that's a little bit different. But overall, what happens throughout the day is those fish are a little bit more predictable in where they may be for a top water. In the morning, you're covering water and, maybe fishing down a big stretch of riprap or whatever it may be. But what happens is the sun gets up, it creates shade pockets, shade lines. Fish will gravitate to overhangs, things like that, wherever they can use that shade as an ambush point. So as the day progresses, target those areas as opposed to just covering a bunch of water with it. You can be a lot more efficient with your approach, and you won't have to just sit there and just cover water like you do first thing in the morning when you may get a bite potentially anywhere on a topwater bait.
For sure. Cool. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you, and I appreciate you, Rick. I appreciate everything you guys are doing, man. This monster bass thing is really, I told you before, I'm really into it, and I'm really, I don't know, something about it got me going. I'm excited about it.
That's my goal. I want to make it, I want everyone to experience bass fishing.
Yes, sir. You got me. I done switched over all my tackle boxes to all the monster box, the 3700, because they're the best. I mean, they're waterproof. It's like, go watch the video I put on my YouTube, man. Bassin with BC. That's BASSINWITBC, and I'm on YouTube, and I'm just loving on Monster Bass and just everything y'all got going on, because I am a subscriber at other places, and I do go around, and like I say in my videos, like, hey, if anyone wants to sponsor me, sure, I'll be loyal to your one company. But for now, I'm going to go around, and I'm going to try everybody, and I'm going to check everything out. And I mean, it's looking like Monster Bass just keeps coming back up, you know what I'm saying? So I'm really, check my order list, man. I just keep ordering. I can't stop. I'm just on it.
Well, listen, I appreciate your loyalty. I appreciate, your support. We try to do the best that we can. I think we back that up with really good customer service. The goal that we have is to solve your problem the way I'd expect my own problem solved. We're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes, but we're going to try and make it right. And, in terms of those 3700s, there's 3700 deeps and 3600s that should be here in a couple weeks. So those will be, you'll like those. Yeah. So anyway, listen, man, I appreciate you calling in, and we'll talk again soon.
Yes, sir. Y'all have a great week.
All right.
Thank you, Matt.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Matt, we got a question for you. Cold water. Are you throwing the finesse craw?
Yep.
Or are you throwing the lipless?
In super cold water. Well,
yep.
So that's a lot for me because I'm thinking about the lake, and is it grass dominated? I'm throwing the lipless.
New England. It's in New England, so it's up north. Yeah.
Oh, then probably not a grass dominated lake. Probably, got smallmouth running around everywhere. I'm gonna put that finesse crawl on a small jig head, Ned rig style head, or something like that, and fish it on hardcover like rocks, rock veins, natural rock, things like that, and fish it slow.
There you go. That was a question from Charles Waltos. Let's see. Do we have any other questions before he jumps this? I was just about to say he didn't do this. Yeah. All right. Let's go to oh my goodness. Let's go to Texas. Go ahead, Chauncey.
Hey, Rick. Hey, Matt. I got a couple of questions for you guys. Doing pretty good. Rick, I'll start with you. Hey, when's the new plastics coming out? What date you got?
I don't know that I can give you the date because I could say 60 to 90 days because, again, we're putting something out into the market that doesn't actually exist. And so we got to do some protection around that just to make sure we don't obviously it's going to get ripped off right away, but there's just a few things that have to be done before those can come out.
Okay. Sounds good. All right, Matt, I got a question for you. On your spare time, do you ever kayak fish?
I would be lying if I said yes because I've fished out of a kayak in my entire life. I have wade fished some growing up. I used to wade fish some rivers, just shorts and old pair of tennis shoes, but I have never kayak fished before. A lot of pros do, though.
Yeah, I noticed that a lot of pros are starting to go to the kayak. Do you feel like you might give it a shot, or are you going to stick with the boat?
Well, I'll be honest with you. With my schedule now and the between tournaments and promotional events and sponsor stuff, I've got 2 little girls at home. I've got quite a few other hobbies. I'm big into turkey hunting, deer hunting, things like that. When I'm not on tour or not, working for sponsors or whatnot, I'm usually doing, spending time with the family or hunting locally around the house, things like that. So I'm scared to death that if I jumped in a kayak, I might actually add something else to the list, and I better not do that at this point.
Happy wife, happy life.
Yeah, the wife might get after you. Yeah, the wife may get after you.
Yeah.
All right. For the other question I got for you, last question. I know Toyota is a big sponsor of Bass and MLF. Is there some features that you wish that Toyota had in their trailering when you're trailering the boat that the other brands like Chevy, Ford may have that you wish Toyota had?
I have not. So I've had Toyota since I was 16 years old, and I'm 41 now. So I've really never towed a boat with anything but Toyotas. But the new 22s, some of the towing features that they have, if you haven't been in one, without sounding like a salesman, you owe it to yourself, swing by your local Toyota dealer and take a test drive of one. They've got a 14-inch LCD screen. They've got different tow modes on there. They've got, every feature that I need to tow my boat all over the country, I currently have in my new 22 Tundra. So I don't know. I'm honestly not familiar with any specific features, and maybe you can enlighten me that a Chevy or a Ford has to benefit towing that we don't have, or that Toyota does not have?
I know just one of the features that I would love to have in one of the new Chevys. I got a 2018 Chevy, but one of the new features that they got is it assists you with backing up and actually telling you when to stop when you need to, and the hookup and stuff like that, and the 360 camera around the whole truck itself.
Yep. So I do have a 360 camera that sees all the way around the aerial views, and which is crazy to me. It blows my mind how they can do that.
That's crazy.
Then I've got backup assist, and one thing about the newer vehicles too, it's the safety features on these things are endless, right? Like I'm sure 10 years, they're going to be driving themselves, but the lane assist mode, some different things that the new Tundras have. Very, very, very safe. But the backup assist is definitely something that we have, of course, along with the backup camera, which they've had for years in a lot of different vehicles.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that was it. I just wanted to get your take on trailering and stuff out of the Toyota.
Sure.
All right. Well, Chauncey.
Yeah, it was good talking to you, Matt. And thanks, Rick.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, I put a package in the mail for you today, just so you know.
Oh, I appreciate it. Thanks.
And
good talking to you guys.
All right.
Oh, go ahead, Rick.
No, I can follow up with you.
Okay.
All right, man.
It was good talking to you, Matt. And see you, Rick.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. We're going to close those phone lines. We got 3 more callers. How you doing on time? You got time for 3 more calls?
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
good.
All right. I want to get you back to the girls. Hold on. Oh, no. Oh, whoever that was that I just terminated. Oh, there it is. I can call him back. I hit the wrong button and just hung up on some guy that had been waiting for like 15 minutes. Where is he? It's calling him right now. God. And he's never called the show before.
Oh, no.
Hello?
Hey,
sorry about that. I hung up on you by mistake.
no, it's all good. I heard you. I'm watching live. And there's a little bit of a delay. I'm like, they cut out there for a second, and I heard you say, "Oh no," and my phone started ringing. So it's all good.
All right. So how you doing?
So I'm doing great. So name's Joseph from South Jersey, just outside of Philadelphia. Just wanted to start off by saying I'm brand new to the Monster Bass family, and I love this community. I love the idea of bringing the pros on to get the chance to ask them. So, thank you for building this and for having a bunch of great guys in the chat to talk to and get some pointers from.
Thank you.
And then, Matt, I don't want to take too much of your time. I'm a family man myself. So, just a quick question for you. So I have a trip planned this March up to the Finger Lakes area in New York, and I'm a South Jersey guy. So I'm feeling like I'm wandering into a brand new environment. Late winter, early spring, what are you throwing in the New York area if you have any input for it?
What lake?
Specifically Lake Keuka.
As in Cayuga?
No, Keuka. K-E-U.
Yeah.
Wait, Cayuga with a C?
K-E-U-K-A, yeah.
Yeah.
No, Keuka with a K. Yeah. K-E-U-K-A, yeah. It's the Finger Lakes. Little town called Prattsburg sits right in between them.
Yeah.
Got you. Okay. I haven't fished those lakes, but I would say I'm assuming that lake's probably full of smallmouth and largemouth.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that time of year, especially if you catch it pre-spawn up north, the smallmouth the smallmouth fishing up north pre-spawn can be unbelievable. We never typically go there on tour until spawn post-spawn events later in the summer, because that's kind of the way we work from south to north based on weather. But I would I'd be prepared for just a fast and furious smallmouth bite. They should be really feeding up before they get ready to spawn. A lot of moving baits. I've caught giant smallmouth up north cranking. A jerk bait would be in my box 100%. And then, of course, I'd have some type of jig on the deck too. If the largemouth are up and chewing, they should be biting a crankbait.
The largemouth. Yeah, from what I understand, the largemouth spawn starts in like late March. So they closed the largemouth season March 15th. I'm planning on getting up there and getting my lures in the water those last couple of days before they close the season up there. So,
Okay, yeah. So that if it's a lot of grass in that lake, probably. I know some of those lakes have a substantial amount, but a bladed jig would definitely be on my deck
mm-hmm.
too.
All right. Appreciate the advice, guys. Thank you so much.
I appreciate your support. Appreciate you calling in, man. Thanks for welcome to Monster Bass.
Take care.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye. I love that. We got Indiana, Pennsylvania. I got to guess it. Who is this? I have no idea. Let's hit the right button and not hang up on him. Go ahead.
Hey, Rick, how's it going? Matt, how's it going? It's Chef Tony.
Chef Tony, what's going on?
Nothing. What are you guys up to? Obviously, other than the live.
Well, that's it.
I've been.
Pretty much all the questions I had, you guys answered. So, what's for dinner tonight?
Chicken salad for me.
Chicken salad.
I'm
now, like a chicken on salad, or like a chicken salad with like mayonnaise and stuff like that.
No, like homemade chicken salad on a sandwich.
There you go. Nothing wrong with that.
I like that. What about you, Chef Tony?
Oh, nothing too crazy. Just a pan-seared pork chop with a cream sauce and some rice.
Ugh, you know, if I could, yeah, good for you. It sounds lovely. Sounds lovely.
It was all right. What about you, Rick? What's for dinner?
I'm going out for dinner. I have a friend in town. He's a big steak guy. So I'm going to take him to, not to a steakhouse because I like steak, but I don't always feel great afterwards. And I'd much rather eat like a really solid pork chop, or I might like some scallops tonight. We'll see. I don't know. The menu changes at this place all the time. I just know we're going to go spend a lot of money and drink a lot of red wine, and hopefully he won't.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hopefully he won't embarrass me too much.
There you go.
Oh, I thought that was him walking in right now. I was like, oh crap.
Oh crap.
He doesn't want steak? Oh. So, no fishing questions? You have fishing questions. You called in. You got this guy on the phone, and you're going to...
No, everything that I had on mine was pretty much someone else asked and answered. So,
all right, well, there you go.
I just had to come up with something. That's what I guess. That's what everybody ate for dinner. So,
all right. Well, there you go.
Well, I'll let you guys go. I know you got things to do, but thanks, Rick. Thanks for being on the live, Matt. I learned a lot from you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
All right. Thank you. That was Chef Tony. Okay. All right. I think we're about to kick things up a little bit. Might need to take a deep breath for this guy. Can everyone give me a collective, and breathe out. All right. Here we go. Go ahead, caller.
Hello, and hello. Here we go, guys. We know we got Arey on the show, and you know he's not wet and soft because he's a boss when he goes to different lakes around the country. And I love his honesty because what he said to me, he said, I'm not good on the lake in Florida, so I won't put him on my bass fantasy list. So officially, I will be putting him on the list that he told me to put him on with the better lakes. Officially, we know we got great deals for Monster Bass. They did something cool again today. If you're on Rick's VIP list, woo, you got that VIP text that I got. It was a secret one, Rick. The marketing department sent me a secret text. Woo! You ready for it?
Yeah, as ready as I'm ever going to be.
Okay, Rick. This is what they did. They sent me something that says, here is a Monster Bass VIP secret text. I was like, what the hell is this? And it said 70% off. I'm like, wait a minute. does Rick know about 70% off? And it says Strike King and Z-Man and different baits on the website. Here's a 70% off code. I'm like, okay, I got to talk to Rick about this. It's 70% off. What is this about? Woo!
I don't know what this is about, but here's what I want to know from you. You still there?
I'm here.
Okay.
I'm here.
Okay. I'm going to pretend that text never went out the door because I don't know anything about a 70% off sale on my website. But here's what I will tell you. Since you're not going to put Matt on your fantasy team for the first stop, is he making your roster for the rest of the season?
Well, you get to pick them on the website. Officially, you get to do it one time. And when you put them on the lake, that's why I'm going to ask Matt his best lake I need to put him on. I write it down in my notebook. When he gets to that lake, that's when I go, okay, this is the lake. I'm going to save myself, some time in trouble and try to keep my percentage of my fantasy list up. Tell me the best lake to put you on, and I'll put you in my list.
Oh, man. You're asking me? Sorry, I had to get a charger. If you saw me walking around, I had to get a charger for my phone.
Okay, I'll wait till you get it.
Yeah, I've got it, but I'm trying to think, trying to go through our schedule in my mind. I tell you, the South Carolina lakes, Lake Murray is a tournament that I'm looking forward to a lot. It's mid-April. I have probably won more money in my career in the month of April than any other month. So I'd have to say, if I had to pick one, probably Murray, Lake Murray, which is our third stop this year.
There you go.
Thank you so much. Put it down, guys. If you want to be that Bassmaster fantasy list, guys, that's a good way to get the guys to tell you if they're going to be doing good on a lake. That's my little secret technique to keep my percentage up in the high 96% each year.
Wow. All right. You don't have another question? I'll ask the question that you're thinking of. So
I got a question for him. Short.
Oh, go ahead.
I do got questions because I listen to the master on Okeechobee, and the master I think is Roland Martin. Roland Martin always says, throw the damn Cinco. No matter what you do, if you're in Florida, throw the damn Cinco. Wacky rig it, Texas rig it, Carolina it, throw the Cinco. And then other guys throw the speed worm. Some people throw the big jigs. Some people throw the BFEs, some big bites. What's the best technique do you recommend for Okeechobee? I tell everyone, like you see Greg Hackney go around those cypress trees, we know his tactic. If I saw guys doing that, man, all I would do was copy them verbatim.
Yeah, well, you said it. I mean, every year we go to Florida, doesn't matter where we're at in Florida, a 5-inch stick bait plays. Mine's a Lunker Hunt lumber stick, very similar to the Cinco.
Yeah.
I was just talking to Rick earlier in the show. I've got it rigged up 3 different ways preparing for our Okeechobee swing. So I hate to be cliche and kind of repeat, but a 5-inch stick bait in Florida, it shines in the worst of conditions and the best of conditions. It always gets bites in the state of Florida. So I'm gonna have to go with that Lunker stick, and a black blue flake is my color.
That's perfect. Now I'm going to say again, if people are sleeping on the Lunker Hunt website, tell me some of the new baits that they got on that website. Do you have them all on your boat, or you just have just a few? Now, I went through the Lunker Hunt site last month. They gave me a discount on a bunch of stuff. They got that link hot water. I picked up a few of those. I picked up that Boschi blade. I picked up that crankbait blade. That's something unique. I'm telling you, when you see unique baits and you're in California, our bass here are pressured night and day, and it's always good to throw something at them that they haven't seen, especially if it flashes, and see if they bite. I have a feeling a lot of these things I picked up last month is going to work throughout the spring. Now, that Lunker Hunt site, a lot of people are sleeping on it because I think the spider gives them a bad name, and they go, I don't want to throw anything like that spider, but man, throw that reckless roach. You can't help but love a roach when someone sells you a roach and says, throw this roach and thinking you get a bite. I love the thought of throwing a roach.
Yeah, there's several new baits that I'm excited about. I do have the glitch blade, the hybrid crankbait. I do have a gold one tied on for our Florida swing. But, some of the USDP, the Hive Series baits, the ultra durable soft plastic baits, the Versa Worm and the Versa Fish, which I think will be phenomenal drop shot baits. I played with some prototypes this past season when we were up north, and super durable. And really, really, really nice baits on a drop shot rig. And there's a lot of different ways to rig them, but they really shine on smallmouth and on a drop shot.
That's perfect, man. Rick, I'm telling you, man, it's a good thing. With 20% off, guys, you know you get to save some money. When Rick gives those deals and say, go to Lunker Hunt, save 20%, you're saving money. You get free shipping from the Lunker Hunt site, you know, when you go over $50 now. If you got one of their Lunker Hunt cards, cash cards, those are cool things to spend, too. They sent me one, I think, in December. I think at Christmas time I got one. So it's always good to find those savings, man. When Rick gives those deals and you're on Rick's Monster Bass VIP list, don't be afraid to save yourself some money. It makes the bass addiction buying bait so much fun.
Thank you.
All right, buddy. Take care. Love you guys. Keep doing what you're doing. It is officially winter time. Slow those baits down and work them slow. Take care, guys. Love you.
That was Mr. Gambit. Love you too, Mr. Gambit. All right. Speaking of cold water search, what's your go-to cold water search bait?
Something that's a tight wobbling crankbait, so a crankbait with a tight action, dives anywhere from 3 to 8 feet. Sometimes they will get very, very shallow in the winter, surprisingly shallow. I've caught a lot of big fish in 2 to 4 foot of water cranking, but actually I've caught a lot in that 5 to 10 foot cranking also. But something with a tight wobble, something that's very subtle, but something dives anywhere. And that I'll start with something that 2 to 5, and then I'll also have a bait tied on that dives in that 5 to 8 foot range. But a crankbait would be number one search bait for cold water.
Nice. Yeah, that seems to be a consistent. Theme when I ask that same question. All right, we got our last caller of the night. He's always our last caller. He's called 90 times. Let's see here. All right, Brendan. How are we wrapping up this show today? What questions you got?
Oh, I got just one question. That way we keep it fast. Hello, Matt. Would you be able to tell us a little about your professional paintball job that you had before? How you played paintball professionally?
Well, it wasn't a job as much as it was a hobby now. So I didn't actually, professional, you have some sort of income typically. But I played for, I don't know, 6 or 7 years through high school and into my early college days, and played for a team called the Manus Factory team. We did not ever reap any of the awards that we won, but we did not have to pay for anything. So we would fly. We played in LA. We played in Toronto. We played in Chicago, played in Orlando, and what that used to be called the World Cup of Paintball down in Orlando, Florida. And we had sponsors that paid our way, provided equipment, but anything we ever won went back into the team, or I don't know where it went. I never saw any of it. So I was just a player on the team, but but it was a lot of fun, man. Met a lot of great people, and it was some times that I'll never forget. But traveled and had the opportunity to travel to a lot of places I've never been. Went to Vegas and played in a tournament in Vegas one year. So a lot of fun, great group of guys, and it's still a thing. I just I took a turn towards fishing and had to give up something, so I gave up paintball. Fishing pays a little bit better than paintball did.
We actually have someone in the chat that says he plays for Brimstone Smoke Professional Paintball Team. I didn't know that was a thing.
There was a Brimstone Smoke when I played actually for Manus, and we played against a Brimstone Smoke. But I mean that was 20 years ago, so it'd be amazing if it's the same team now.
That's amazing. I mean, even his profile pic is him playing paintball. That's amazing.
He's probably a little younger than I am.
Wow.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. What age were you doing this from?
Oh, from like 16 to 20. Yeah.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah.
That must have been amazing. Right up.
Wow.
Yeah, he says it's the same
All right,
team.
Well, I'll let you guys go.
That's crazy. Small world.
Yeah. Brendan?
Yes, sir.
What did Mom make for dinner tonight?
but we had a chicken noodle soup, homemade garlic bread, and also note the vegetables are from our garden that we've stored away, and also the chicken as well. And then we had a white chocolate chip cookies homemade for dessert. So it was a pretty good meal. It's been cold here, as you know, so it's nice to have something warm to go to whenever you're done working.
Totally. But you do know that your mom's holding out on you, right? White chocolate's not really chocolate. I'm just, I hate to ruin it for you. Your mom.
I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, your mom, I don't know. She might be slacking a little bit. But don't tell her I said that.
A nice warm chocolate, a nice warm white chocolate chip cookie, nice and soft on the inside, a little bit crunchy on the outside, just coming straight out of the oven. The smell is amazing. The taste, the texture, everything is just perfect.
All right, bro, it's 5:30 here. I haven't even eaten yet. Don't do that to me.
It's 8:30 here, and I haven't eaten either, and I'm starving now.
All right. Well, with that, Brendan, we're going to say goodnight to you.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for calling in, bro.
All right. You guys have a good one.
All right.
All right. See you guys.
All right. Well, Matt, as always, I want to thank you for taking time away from the family to be with us. Really appreciate it. And we want to thank you for coming on the show on behalf of Lunker Hunt. They're a really great sponsor. We love those guys, and they don't just make great baits. They're really good people, and that's what I love about Lunker Hunt. So thanks a lot for coming, and I wish you the best of luck on tour this year. I hope it's a great season. And I hope next year when you come back that you've got some good stories from Okeechobee and you had some better success this year than you did in previous ones.
Lord willing, we may have a little better Florida swing than the last time down there. But Rick, I appreciate the opportunity as always, man. Good to see you, and hope to see you sooner than later.
All right, take care. Thank you.
Yep, see you.
All right, bye-bye. He's just a good guy. I like him. Some guys come on and you gotta struggle through conversation. I can just tell he's like a good I'd like him to be my neighbor because he'd be like a good guy that just wouldn't, he's just a good guy. He's a good guy. Anyway, all right, I pinned the code for you guys that didn't get it. I don't know why you didn't get it. I don't know who they sent it to. I don't know who's giving away all my stuff. There's a reason why, I don't understand. All right, so next week, guys, I'm going to be on time. I'm going to take measurements next time I decide to order furniture for my house so that we can get it through the door. I actually have to call Restoration Hardware back right now to figure out what we're going to do. Man. It's going to be a really good season. Really excited for the upcoming lives that are coming. I got something in store for you. We're going to put a little more structure around this. I'm working with Rafi, and we're going to put some structure behind it so that, we might have a whole show on jigs, and we'll bring on someone that just knows how to throw jigs. And I think you guys are going to like that a lot. All right, so this month's been great. It's been Lunker Hunt, and keep in mind, we got another box, another month coming up in a few days, and so get excited. It's the Strike King Takeover. In this box, there's a lot of different versions because of the way that they did it. So there's everything from red-eyed shads to thunder crickets to chick magnets to 2.5s to 5XDs to flat-sided to game hogs, rage Ned Craws. I don't know. There's a lot. But it's Strike King, so you're going to love it. It's kind of like Lunker Hunt. So, and I just confirmed everything with Z-Man, so they're getting ready to ship. So we will we'll make sure we got 3 good months in a row. And then be on the lookout for the next survey. I already surveyed you guys once about some hard baits. I'm going to send you out the survey on some soft plastics. And then I'm going to survey you on 1-question survey. What's the one bait that hasn't been in the box that you want in the box? And we'll see what we can do. So with that, I want to say oh, nope, I got some golden tickets. Actually, I want to say thank you to Jared. He did something right today. He didn't screw up the podcast, and he reminded me about the 3 golden tickets. So here they are, 08973, 08602, and 08532. And with that...
Sweep the leg.
Yeah, so Rafi's with us in spirit. When he's not cheating, just for the record, if you saw it, you saw my teeth go flying, right? It wasn't teeth, but he clearly didn't hit me with a tortilla. He hit me with his hand. Anyway. All right, let's get out of here. I'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys for your support. Free Bait Friday. If you don't know what that is, go to the website, sign up, go to the bottom, join the VIP list. Give me your phone number. Tomorrow you're going to get a code for a free bait. It's that easy. We're not frozen. I'm just kidding. All right. You guys have a great night. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.